Hi everyone, my name is Tony Grillo. This is my channel, Wisconsin Hugs. Today I thought I would share a story about a ghost that lives in Horicon, Wisconsin, a famous ghost. And her name is Annie. And this was a memory that I shared. An upstairs light flipped on as I drive by this house a few weeks ago late at night, and no one lives there. Very sad, true story about the ghost that haunts this house. So 4 years ago, Tony Grillo is at Horicon Historical Society, October 28th, 2017. The first pic here comes from a pic that hangs on the upstairs wall near the bedroom of a real-life lady named Annie, whose ghost is now said to haunt this very house she lived in. Not sure of her time period, I'm guessing early 19th century, but her true story here is that she tragically lost 11 of her children, all in a few months due to some really bad illness. The deaths happened so quickly that some of her children were buried together in the same coffin. As a result, she is said to have lost her mind, and there were times she dug up the graves just to be with her children. Yeah, the graves are like in the backyard of the house. She would also spend hours talking to them when no one was in the room, and when visitors came, she thought they were her kids coming to visit. When visitors didn't play along, she got mad, called them demons, and screamed for them to go away, blaming the demons for taking her children. She spent the remaining sad part of her years being cared for in a mental hospital in days where electroshock and ice baths were considered appropriate methods of treatment. So you can imagine she didn't have a very pleasant life. She immigrated here from Germany, in the New World and in America, early 19th century. And, they're living in, Horicon, Wisconsin. They just finished building their house. And she, had 11 children with her husband. And then all of a sudden she just loses them all, like within months. And then, she kind of lost her mind and, was basically put to a mental ward where she suffered treatments there. And that's how her life ended. The actors that told her story told me that paranormal activity happened often during their rehearsals. In one instance, the original German Bible that sits on the dining room table opened itself up, and the pages turned until they stopped at page 666. Marbles also roll by themselves on the floors where Annie slept, and lights and candles would turn themselves off and on. An actor said that one time he lit a candle and heard a lady say no. Then the candle blew out after he made a few more attempts to light the candle and failed. While hearing that same voice repeat the word no, he got annoyed with the ghost and yelled, "Would you stop?" And then he didn't have any trouble lighting candles ever again. This was a half-hour show with a very sad, tragic story brought amazingly to life by the performers of the Historical Society here, and I truly enjoyed it. Thank you, Horicon, for a fun night. And so take a peek at some of the pictures here, if I can get the phone to work. All right, here we go. So this is Annie. This is actually her back in the day, and I'm sorry that the picture is not that great, but they didn't have the house. They only had the candles lit in the house, and they didn't want people using flashes. So that's all I can get there. This was the Bible that Annie brought with her when she came to this country, and I actually took a picture of the page that the actors said the Bible stopped. It was 666, and that's in the original German. So I don't know what section of the Bible that would appear on that page, but This is the Slattery Clark House, open, and it's part of the Horicon Historical Society. And these are some pictures of the house being lit up during Halloween. They light it up, and like I said, every half hour they put on a show, and they only allow so many people in the house to watch the performance. This is the house where Annie, lived, raised her kids, and then lost her kids. And these are stories where the historical society actors would tell a story about Annie. This one here talks about a homeowner that bought the house after Annie had passed away, and he's acting out where he sees a lady in white walking down the stairs, which is said to be the ghost of Annie. She was often said to appear around children. When the children would often see her whenever they were upstairs in the bedrooms. This was a scene that they acted out where that lady is Annie. And that's a doctor that came in to check on her, and apparently she had dug up one of the graves, and she was holding her dead baby in her arms, and the doctor was, came in to try to help her out, and when he walks in the room, he was like, "What's that awful smell?" And with all the candles and everywhere, it does kind of look like a spooky place. This is another scene here where these nurses came to check in on Annie. Here's a scene here where they were acting out where family was just hanging out, and they would hear noises upstairs. And that, I believe, is Annie's bedroom right there. There's a picture of the stairway. And that is my post for today. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And do I believe ghosts are real? Oh yeah, I definitely believe ghosts are real. So I thought, since we were talking about ghosts, maybe I'd share this real quick with all of you. This is a post I wrote October 13th, 2017 in Portage, Indiana. Happy Friday the 13th! So, how appropriate. So after watching a really fun spooky ghost hunter marathon with the crew from TAPS last weekend, I thought I'd honor today of all days in conjunction with the month of Halloween. Oh my gosh, this was Halloween, October 13th. Wow, Friday the 13th on Halloween, by telling you a true ghost story. When I was in my early 20s and living in South Chicago Heights, Illinois, I knew a girl that worked at a corner gas station, and we got together with a bunch of friends at a neighborhood bar for Halloween. Her name was Kristen, and she was a cute little blonde, and we were both having a beer when I made a comment about how good one of the patrons' Halloween costumes looked. He was dressed as a really cool ghost. And that's when I noticed she got really sad. I was like, hey, what's wrong? Have you actually seen a ghost? And then she told me her story, and you know me, I love a good story, especially ones that are true, so this was her story. It was Christmas, and her friend was back from attending school at Northwestern. He was visiting his grandma when he told Kristen, you have to come over here and see my grandma's present. She didn't have far to drive, and so she went over there and saw it was a brand new pickup truck. She then told him that she had to get over to her parents' house, and he wanted to go see his girlfriend, so they both left together in separate vehicles. He wanted to drive his new truck. It was a really bad stormy night. The roads were icy, and no crews were working on Christmas. They were driving slowly on Highway 394, and she was following the pickup when she saw a passing semi-truck accidentally sideswipe the pickup. Suddenly, the brand new pickup went off the road and flipped over as it rolled down a steep hill. She pulled over and ran down the hill and saw that he'd been ejected, with the pickup rolling on top of him. I don't think he had a seatbelt on. His hand was sticking out, and all she could do was grab it, as the young man died that night. A few days later, she saw his body at the wake. His hair was parted the wrong way, and she remembered thinking how badly she wanted to reach into the casket and fix his hair so that it was the way he normally wore it. Later that night, she was home alone watching TV when she thought it odd that she heard the bathroom faucet running. Then she was shocked at finding her dead friend wetting his comb in the sink and looking at himself in the mirror. As he ran his wet comb through his hair, he said, "Hi." Then he asked her, "Why didn't you fix my hair?" "I hated how it looked in my casket." LOL. Then he told her not to be sad. He was going to a beautiful place. Sorry, I had to pause for a sec. Then he told her not to be sad. He was going to a beautiful place. He said, "I have been allowed to say goodbye. I'm also worried about my girlfriend and was hoping you could check in on her." Then he started walking the upstairs when he said, "By the way, you are pregnant, and it's going to be a boy. And I would like you to name him after me." Then he smiled and said goodbye and disappeared as he walked up the steps. Now, the very next morning, Kristen wasn't sure if she dreamt the whole incident, so she called her friend's father. The man was a very no-nonsense type of person, and so she was surprised to learn that he also got a visit from his dead son. The father was retired and ran a Chicago Tribune paper route for some extra cash. It was very early morning when he headed to his car and found his son sitting in the passenger seat. They talked while driving, and he said he was given permission to say goodbye and that he was going to heaven, but he was very worried about his girlfriend. Then the father got out of his car to throw the papers into his trunk, and when he got back inside his car, his son was gone. The girlfriend did take her boyfriend's death very hard. She wound up being committed to a psych ward, and she told Kristen she thought she lost it when she saw him too. Apparently he visited Kristen first, then his dad, and then later in the morning she saw him when she decided to visit his grave. It was a cold winter morning when she saw him sitting on a tree branch. He told her not to be sad. He said he was going to a beautiful place, and he loved her so much, and he wanted her to be strong and live a happy life. Then as the sun rose, he said goodbye as he climbed up the tree and disappeared, just as a few birds in the same tree suddenly flew up into the freezing winter morning. And so that's the end of Kristen's story. And I could tell she was telling the truth. She didn't know she was pregnant, and she actually did have a son. And she named him after her friend. His name is Nico. Happy Friday the 13th. I hope it's a great day. So, that was a true ghost story that was told to me by my friend Kristen. I honestly believe her story is true. She doesn't have any reason to make it up or lie to me about it. And that happened in South Chicago Heights, Illinois. So I thought, since we're on the subject of real life ghost stories, I would share one more story. And this is about a ghost, a famous ghost that apparently lives out in the Eau Claire, Wisconsin area, along the Chippewa River flowage area. So this was a story that was told to me by my coworkers. So here we go. Tony Grillo, July 4th, 2020. Even my coworkers know I love a good story, especially a good ghost story. My fellow trucker tells me he was fishing one evening out in the beautiful waters of the Chippewa flowage here in our great state of Wisconsin, and not too far away, he clearly sees a man in a rowboat heading for an island. My coworker turns his head away for a second, thinks, there's something weird there. He realizes he never saw any wake or water movement from the guy in the rowboat. So he turns his attention back to the man in the rowboat and is shocked to see the man in the rowboat has completely disappeared. So my coworker starts paddling his boat in the direction where the man in the rowboat was heading. And as he gets closer to the island, his boat is suddenly struck by something in the water which scares the crap out of him and rocks his boat pretty good. Then he sees this very large beaver swimming away. He's like wondering, what the heck? Did I get attacked by a beaver? Can this night get any weirder? Then he starts heading for the island, and sure enough, the beaver attacks his boat again and almost tips him over. Now, he's had enough. And so he turns his boat around and leaves. After he tells his friends that live there his story, they tell him, well, you just met the ghost of the Chippewa flowage. The story goes that the man buried his son somewhere on the island, and now his ghost goes to the island to visit his son's grave. What makes this ghost unique is that a ghost beaver will attack any boater that tries to get too close to the ghost of the man in the rowboat that is heading to the island. Well, that's all I have for you, a true ghostly legend that you'll never read about in Weird Wisconsin, but I am all too happy to share with all of you in Facebook land. Happy Saturday. So, those are 3 different ghost stories that I thought I'd share with you all. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this post. If you like my stories, and please give me a like and give me hit the subscription button. And I want to grow this channel, and I want to see if what happens if I can make this channel get bigger. So, but I appreciate all of you, and you have a great day.